Party people in the place to be. Live from 58 Dream Street. We're Jamesin' with Games. Happy Saturday, everybody. Winding down 2023 here. I caught that I had pressed the very subtle, it's not even a button, the mute button on my new microphone that I got for Christmas. It's not even a button. It's an area on the bottom of the mic that if you brush with your thumb, you mute the thing. And apparently I did that while I was fiddling with it before we got started here. But I caught it just in time. So hopefully my voice is coming through. I've changed the mic positioning after getting some feedback that I was a little quiet yesterday. In fact, I'll change it a little more if I can just get the chicken neck camera boom to cooperate. Okay. The microphone is very close to my mouth, within 6 inches as recommended. So hopefully that's a good volume. Let me know if it's not. And here we are, continuing the King's Quest saga, which is no longer about any sort of thing about kings going on a quest. The main king character, volume is good, excellent, and welcome PJ. Happy Saturday. Hope your holidays are going well. Yeah, adjusted the font size, so hopefully we don't have as many issues with messages just being blasted and not even fitting on the screen when they get a few sentences long. And yeah, we're it's been pretty good. I always get very lately, since I started my career where I teach at a university, my Christmas spirit arrives pretty late. But it arrived. So I had a good time, had some fun, and gonna have some fun now. Continuing the King's Quest saga with King's Quest VI, Heir Today, Gone Tomorrow. So let's fire it up without any further ado. Here we are. In the Scum VM emulator, which obviously oh wow. For reasons I'm not entirely clear on, we got the cats like a fun Christmas stocking thing filled with catnip toys and little balls and stuff, and we just haven't taken it off the tree and given it to them yet. I guess we're saving it for, once our Christmas was a bit extended because Danielle's niece and nephew don't come in until after actual Christmas because they live in a different province. So they do Christmas with the one family there. Then when they come in here, so we had additional Christmas gift opening later than Christmas. Okay, we have a different resolution. So this is landing a bit differently on the screen. So I'm just going to adjust it here. Okay, that feels good. And yeah, here we go. So my girls, one of whom I can see right now, are going to have a very good evening, and they don't even know it yet. And Amber's been having a great time anyway because she loves to go on the shared patio space, and she's got plenty of that in because I've been home a lot more over the holidays. So yeah, things are good all around. And here we are, King's Quest VI, the only King's Quest that I beat before in my life as a young person, and yet not a game that I remember anything about. So we're not skipping the opening because I certainly I remember the story now, or I don't know if remember counts when really what we're talking about is at the end of King's Quest V, they say what the plot of this one is. I was like, oh yeah. Prince Alex wants to meet Princess Casima, and so he goes to the Green Isles. And now I remember that there is an island structure to the game. Smaller contained areas. Maybe I won't need a map. We'll see. And yeah. I'm excited. Both to see what comes back to me and what doesn't. Find out if the game holds up, because my mind remembers it as being like really good. And also its reputation precedes it as probably the most beloved of the series. So let's find out. Starting with the opening. Here we go.
Long ago, in the castle of a kingdom called Daventry,
we've hired a professional voice actor.
Alexander, here you are. Oh, you're still not thinking about Casima, are you?
Hmm? I suppose I am.
Son, it's been months. You've got to pull yourself together. After all, you only met her that once.
I know.
Have you discovered anything about the land of the Green Isles?
No. No one's even heard of it. It's like she's just vanished.
I wish I could help. Please try to think about something else, dear.
I'll try, Mother.
It's 3D.
Alexander, I feel so alone. I don't know what to do. Alexander, I wish you were here. Alexander, Alexander, Alexander.
Casima! Wait! Mother! Mother, come quick!
Alexander, what on earth? You're white as a ghost.
Mother, I saw Casima. She was in the mirror.
In the mirror? The magic mirror?
Yes! And it showed me how to find her.
How?
The stars! I saw the stars outside her window. I can navigate by the stars.
Oh, Alexander, if you really go...
It will be all right, Mother. I promise.
Much higher production values, but this is just the opening of King's Quest 2. Sitting in the throne room of Castle Daventry, lamenting that you have no beautiful woman to marry, seeing the woman in the mirror, saying, "I will go to that faraway land." If I remember correctly, and I'm not sure it's a memory so much as I've seen the screenshot recently. It's probably one of the main GOG app screenshots for the game. I think the first gameplay screen is also just, Alexander with the beach and the ocean to his left, landing in a new place.
3 long months, Prince Alexander sailed the known seas and beyond.
Despite the absurdly stiff animation, I am finding this intro quite charming.
Land ho! Land ho! Land ho!
Okay, he does have a crew. The first shot of him on the ship made it kind of seem like he was sailing the ship on his own somehow. And it could be a magic ship. I mean, this is Daventry, but still.
As the ship nears the shore, day turns to night and the sea turns violent.
Uh-oh. So this is not going to have a returning to the ship mechanic involved. Like the ship's waiting for Alex in the port of every island he's on. Hey, Jane Jensen. She's the Gabriel Knight writer-designer, right? Cool. Yeah, I gather that was kind of a role the King's Quest played within Sierra. Was a lot of the eventual lead designers on other game series got their start doing something or other for King's Quest. Old Hollywood feel here, giving us all the credits at the start. Oh, in old Hollywood, that happened prior to you didn't see an intro and then get the credits.
Alexander awakens to find himself on an unfamiliar beach. For a moment, he is too dazed to remember how he got here. Then, he does remember. The shipwreck, the sea. Just as he had seen his men safely into the lifeboats, a gigantic wave picked him up and tossed him overboard into the churning sea. That was the last he'd seen of his crew. Debris from the shipwreck is scattered along the shore, but of the lifeboats and his men, there is thankfully no trace. He can only hope and pray that the lifeboats survived the currents, and that his men made their way safely back to Daventry.
Good guy, Alex. He's been shipwrecked, barely survived. He doesn't know where he is or how he'll ever get home. But his first thoughts are about his crew. Oh, one moment, hold on. Receiving some messages. And I have at least one thing I actually have to pay attention to. Da-da-dun, da-da-dun. Okay, great. Greg and I need to coordinate a drop-off because Rich is going to be starting a brand new character. Okay. Ooh. Very, very familiar overall format. And if I had a little bit more time, I would have whipped myself up some special frames using these. I haven't been doing those for the King's Quest games because they don't last as long. Yeah. Ultimate Underworld. I put in the time to put myself inside a setup that looks like the game user interface. Okay. Here's Alexander. Once again, I think that the option exists here to switch from voice to text. Yeah. But I don't think the option exists to have both, which is probably where you want to be. I'll stick with the voices because we have professional voice actors. Now, voicing Alex, if you didn't already recognize or if you didn't already know, is Robbie Benson, Beast, from the Beauty and the Beast movie.
The remains of Alexander's sailing ship lie dashed upon the distant shore. A long plank lies on the beach. No doubt it once belonged to Alexander's ship.
No doubt indeed. What's the shiny thing?
Alexander's royal insignia ring lies abandoned on the sand. It must have slipped from his finger during the shipwreck. Fortunately, it was not lost in the sea.
Yeah, that's pretty fortunate. It's unfortunate that it came off his finger in the shipwreck, but...
Alexander picks up his royal insignia ring from the beach.
Very good. How are we doing? 1 point. 230 to go.
Alexander has no need to carry around large rocks.
What about a big plank?
The sand is warm to the touch.
What are you doing, Amber? Yeah. She's fine. Okay. That's probably the key here. Just to do that. Ooh. This kind of suggests there'll be some kind of additional icon. Who knows? Here we go. Okay. I'm going to remain optimistic that the isles, the green isles, are contained enough that I'm not going to need to map. We'll see what happens. Okay.
A hollow in the trunk of the old tree forms a perfect nesting place for wildlife.
Well, if you've learned anything from your father, Alexander.
Alexander examines the tree's hollow, but finds nothing of interest.
Poisonous tree. Nothing of interest. Well, actually, you know what? I guess if he's learned anything from his father, it's that there used to always be interesting things in hollows. But they've largely abandoned that trope. Okay. I see nothing glittering. That kind of feels like we get this adventure going by getting the story started. Talking to some people. All right. We've got a Arabian Nights feel to this place.
Old lamps for new. Old lamps for new.
I'm sorry, sir. What are you offering? Like, if I give you a new lamp, you'll give me an old one, or is it vice versa?
Good day, peddler.
Good day, sir. If you would like to get one of my fine new lamps, I'll need an old lamp in trade.
Isn't it a rather bad business? Taking old lamps and giving new lamps in exchange?
There's always a chance that I'll find a genie. If I had a genie, I'd be richer than a king. Besides, there's always a roaring business in antique luminaries.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's a reasonable business model. If I find an old lamp, I'll hook this fella up. Oh, Abra's having a problem. Hold on, folks. You stuck, Abra? She got stuck in her bed. She was not happy about that. But now she's okay, don't worry. Okay. Ooh, there's someone upstairs at the bookstore. I'm going to go to the pawn shop first. See what I can get for this royal insignia. Yeah, those were pretty distressed meows. Let's take a look around.
Towering mightily over the other pawn shop curiosities, the stuffed bear makes an ostentatious display.
I like the whimsy of the taxidermist.
The back wall of the shop holds various odds and ends. For example, a hull hole detector for finding those hard-to-spot holes in small sailboats. The land of the Green Isles must have at least one inhabitant with interest in the mystical, for a crystal ball has been traded in along with the more common household goods. A horn, probably used for drink or powder, hangs from the ceiling.
Okay, cool. Hello, sir.
Good day, merchant. Can you tell me what land this is?
By the moon's light, what a question! You must have been out too long in the sun, or perhaps knocked your head upon a rock.
No. Well, perhaps. I was in a shipwreck, you see. My crew and I were trying to reach the land of the Green Isles. I think, well, at least I hope, my men got away safely in the lifeboats. But I myself appear to be rather stuck here.
Ah, I see. You must pardon my incredulity, but it has been so long since we have had a foreign visitor. You wrecked your ship, young traveler, due to the currents and reefs around the islands. If your crew was wise enough to steer clear of the isles and head home, they should be fine. In any case, you have met your objective, however bumpy the journey.
You mean this is the land
I
of the
like
Green
this
Isles?
pawn shop guy. He's
Oh,
erudite.
thank the heavens. I had followed the stars, you see, and I thought I was close, but
The stars? You must be quite a sailor. But what is the purpose of your visit?
I come for... Well, I mean, I hope to see... I met some time ago.
Say no more. You are smitten with a maiden, are you not? What other than love could so confuse a man's tongue?
I am afraid so. It is Princess Casima.
By the desert sands, when you fall in love, you do not mess around, do you?
Is she here?
This is the Isle of the Crown, young man. The castle of the Crown stands on the hill. If it is Casima you seek, that is where to look.
The Castle of the Crown. Thank you, merchant.
And good luck to you, lad. You shall need it.
All right. Cool. I'm going to go on the theory that we don't just go to the castle and meet Princess Casima. And it's like, all right, there's your other 230 points once you show her the royal insignia to prove.
Lamps for new.
Yes, sir. I heard you.
Lamps for new.
There's nobody here except a guy you've already discussed your business with one-on-one.
Hello. I will be right up. Now, what can I do for you?
Ah, well, I don't know. Let me just take a look around.
A collection of children's books fill those shelves. An old man occasionally steals sidelong glances at Alexander from under a concealing hood.
That's not promising.
There's a book entitled The Changing Role of Court Entertainers Through the Ages on the small table in the reading area. It appears that some regular customer likes that book.
Or it's just that one customer ever read it and left it on that table. But okay, sure. Let's make an absurd leap of
Good day,
logic.
sir. I'm a stranger in this land.
I feel like there's no way that Alexander should be having a conversation about his
Quite a question,
objectives
young
with the
man.
shady stranger, but
Who are you?
he's a
And
trusting
what
man,
would you have me tell you?
My
despite
name is
being,
Alexander.
horribly
I know I'm on
abused
the
for his
island
entire
of the
life.
Crown, but I'd
His
like to know
entire
whatever you can tell me
childhood and
about this
adolescence.
island, and if there are other islands nearby.
You are indeed a stranger. Anxious is the man who knows not the customs of the land beneath his feet. This island is called the Isle of the Crown, because the royal family's castle is here. Besides the castle, we also have this village, and the docks over to the west. There are at least 3 other islands. The Isle of the
Hey, sweet
Sacred
hero.
Mountain, the Isle of the Beast, and the Isle of Wonder.
It is that
At
time.
least 3? Does no one know for certain?
This is no ordinary land, Alexander. The land of the Green Isles has always been a place of vague boundaries, as if islands come and go. Legend speaks of a 4th island, an isle shrouded in mists. I myself have never seen it. Then, too, the land of the Green Isles is said to exist on the boundaries of this world and the next. Even darker places are reputed to be closer here than anywhere else in the world.
That's quite a claim.
Claim,
Yep.
yes, but probably just local superstition. We who live here on the Isle of the Crown, at least, sleep well enough at night.
Those first 3 islands you mentioned, how might I learn more about them?
Ideally, a young man seeking such knowledge would travel to their shores and learn about them firsthand. Meeting the leaders of each place would be helpful, naturally. Unfortunately, the ferry no longer runs between the islands. There has been much political unrest, and it has been too dangerous to travel for years. Perhaps the ferryman can tell you more. He has little enough to do these days. And if you haven't been there already, you might seek an audience at the castle.
Thank you kindly, merchant, for all your good advice.
Ah, but advice is free, Alexander. Making use of it costs much more.
That's an interesting aphorism. Okay. I have to satisfy this cat. So hang tight, gang. I'll be right back with you. Okay, back in business. Gained an additional point, presumably, from probably from that conversation. Learning vital information about the Isles. And getting at least a loose structure, even before we really know what the crisis is. Although I'm betting it has something to do with Casima being kidnapped or otherwise oppressed. But besides that, the general idea that we're going to need to find a way to go between these islands. On each island, we'll want to meet the leaders. I bet there will be a quest on each isle. Perhaps. We'll see. Let's go to the castle. I learned a fun thing about the graphics in King's Quest V. Because I was experiencing some confusion. I was like, are these VGA? Is this SVGA? Hey, dog face people. Cool. Not sure it's necessary to save, but what the heck. Let's save. And actually, hold on. We get a little more pep in Alexander's step here. Okay.
There's a little hut just off the path. Perhaps the guard dogs have an occasional use for it, but it looks empty now. 2 guards take their stance in front of the castle doors. They look quite fierce and have the stiff, blank expression of soldiers on formal duty.
Well, let's talk to them.
Excuse me, guardsmen. Guard dogs. I've been traveling for months to see Princess Casima. I would like an audience, please.
I'm sorry, but the princess is not receiving visitors, particularly not strangers.
Well, I've got a theory about that, but hold on. My fun fact. Yeah, I wasn't sure whether the beautiful graphics in King's Quest V were VGA or SVGA, and my confusion stemmed from the fact they look so good that I thought, like, could you do this in VGA? Because like VGA, the VGA distinction is that we go up to a 256 color palette, but the colors in King's Quest V were wild. Anyway, I found a comment thread on, I think it was on the Adventure Gamer, must have been, where Corey Cole himself explained that it is VGA, but the way it worked was they took 64 colors in the 256 color palette and made a set character color palette. So all the sprites have to be made with these 64 colors, because those have to be available everywhere in the game. But then otherwise, each region in the game has its own 256 minus 64, 192 color original palette. Pretty cool. I don't know if this will work at all, because I'm not entirely confident that Princess Casima is even here.
Alexander decides to show his royal insignia ring to the Castle of the Crown Guards. With all of his papers lost in the shipwreck, it is the only possible calling card he can think of.
Good day. I'm Prince Alexander of Daventry. I'm an acquaintance of Princess Casima. If you could just inform her that I'm here, please.
So everyone says. Let me just look at that ring. What does it say, Gruff? Kingdom of Daventry, Prince Alexander. Wait here while I go see what Captain Saladin thinks of this.
I'm a little disappointed that we don't have a portrait for the guard dogs, but hopefully this Captain Saladin is also a guard dog and gets a portrait. Because the portraits have been great so far. Oh, come on.
The guard returns a moment later with a majestic-looking creature. Captain Saladin speaks with a voice that is gentle, but reflects a will of iron.
Prince Alexander of Daventry, I presume. I'm afraid I'm unfamiliar with your country, but I'm sure Vizier Al-Hazred will want to meet you, if indeed you are a friend of the princess.
Oh, no.
Please, follow me.
They have a... First of all, oh, man. If you live in a fairy tale world, do not... Just leave the position of Vizier vacant.
Lord Al-Hazred, a visitor to see you. Prince Alexander
But
of
if
Daventry.
you must...
What is it that you seek, Prince Alexander?
have a Vizier.
Pardon the intrusion,
Hold on.
my lord. but I came to see Princess Casima. Some months ago, my father, King Graham, saved my family and I from imprisonment under an evil wizard named Mordac.
The same wizard that kidnapped the princess?
Exactly. When my father rescued us, he also liberated Casima and sent her home.
Then your father has my gratitude, and that of the entire kingdom. But I'm afraid I still fail to see the purpose of your visit.
Well, I came to make sure that Casima arrived
I like
safely
this
and to pay my respects.
turban-wearing guy with the
Before
glittery
we
eye.
parted, she gave me an invitation to visit.
I have no doubt she did exactly that at the
Yeah,
time.
he seems to have solid gold eyes,
However,
BJ.
things have greatly changed for Casima since her ordeal in Mordac's castle.
I don't know what's up with that.
Casima's parents both became ill and died while she was gone. Casima is sequestered in mourning for them as befits a princess. She is not receiving visitors of any kind. Even if she were, I do not think your visit would be appropriate. You see, it
What?
is time for Casima to take her responsibilities seriously. With her parents gone, she no longer has the luxury to be a carefree maiden. As was her parents' wish, Casima and I are to be wed. We shall rule the kingdom together. I assure
British,
you,
welcome.
our marriage is all Casima wants now. As a prince and a gentleman, it would be best that you leave before there is any further embarrassment.
I see. I suppose that I was mistaken. I thought for certain that Casima... Well, I apologize.
A young man sees what he wishes to see. I'm sorry you've wasted your time traveling to the land of the Green Isles. May your journey home be swift.
Perhaps I will take the opportunity to look around your fair land while I'm here.
I would advise against that. The kingdom is rather, shall we say, inhospitable these days.
Shouldn't an evil vizier have mastered subtlety a bit better than that?
Risk it if you please. Captain Saladin will escort you from the castle.
I am.
Good day.
I forgot to tell Danielle about it, but I'll tell her later. And also, I got to run over to Greg's to drop off another Frosthaven miniature for him to paint. I'll tell Greg about it as well. For anyone in the chat who's...
wishes will not return. I have been instructed not to let you into the castle again. Good day, my lord.
Captain Saladin whispers something to the guard dogs at the castle gate, and they nod with understanding.
All right. So a couple thoughts.
Alexander has a feeling they won't be letting him into the castle again.
Where did you get that feeling, Alexander? Was it when you were literally and explicitly just told that you are no longer welcome in the castle? So, yeah. So British yesterday was telling me some German aphorisms, and it started with one that is similar but different to practice makes perfect, which roughly translated to trial makes smart or trial makes wisdom. The idea being, you don't just learn through thinking about things. You got to try some stuff out, and you got to fail sometimes. You got to figure it out. I was playing, Adventures of Lolo, so this was very relevant to the trial and error process of solving puzzles. Pardon me. And then I was commenting on how it's similar to practice makes perfect, but it's not the same thing, and I like it. And so then British shared the German rough analog to practice makes perfect, which is translates roughly to there was never yet a master who fell from the heavens, which I thought was great. Captures the idea of practice making perfect while also directly addressing the attitude that drives people to shun practicing, the feeling that, I'm not good at it. All right, so got 5 points for learning the story. The other thing I wanted to say was, just to begin with, you live in a fairy tale inspired kind of world. Just leave the position of Grand Vizier vacant. You don't need a Grand Vizier. It's never going to go well. But second, if you must have a Grand Vizier, don't get a guy whose name seems to be taken from the H.P. Lovecraft character who wrote the Necronomicon, this Grand Vizier Alhazred. Well, let's wander the palace grounds. Is that okay, fellas? I have no idea why they would be okay with this, but they're letting it happen. Oh, this answers to me what this particular... It's just the item one, but it's double wide. At some point, is it going to become half wide?
Vines have begun to climb the
To
castle's
introduce a new
stone
ability?
walls. The bushes near the side wall of the castle have been left natural and unsculptured. Alexander is standing next to the side wall of a castle. Unlike the well-guarded castle entrance, this area is deserted. Perhaps the guards are confident that the wall itself is impregnable enough to stop any would-be intruders.
Ah. Which line is the, what's the line mean in that saying? Meanwhile, can I climb the vines?
The vines are too flimsy to support Alexander.
No. Can I hide in the bushes?
Probably not hiding anything useful. Besides, they are too prickly to examine closely.
How can you be so confident, narrator, that there's nothing useful in the bushes? A key part of King Graham's latest adventure was finding a literal needle in a haystack.
The narrow path ends abruptly at a pile of boulders.
Oh. Okay. Well, the screen doesn't exist for no reason. But I don't think it's time yet. Ah. I was thinking like some sort of like demarcation line where you're supposed to be standing on one or other side of it. Like a line painted on the ground. But the obvious example there that comes to mind. Yeah. Can I go in this weird pavilion? Yes. But it is just exactly what it looks like. It's not an illusion where the thing is actually larger. It's not like the TARDIS of Doctor Who fame. One thing I definitely remembered about this game, and that I think we should all take a moment to appreciate, is just the magnificent jacket Alexander is wearing. Looking class, Alexander. Hold on. Let's go back in Ali's books.
Hello.
Oh.
I will be right up. Now, what can I do for you?
Well, I actually came in here, sir, to see if I could read the book that was left on the table. But it looks like actually there's a new NPC we can talk to.
Good day, sir. Is there anything you can tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
I'm sorry, but I have no time for idle conversation. I'm too worried about the princess.
Oh, who was that? That is a... If not the voice actor, the voice they're doing. Very recognizable. Yeah, maybe it'll come to me. I don't know. Game is absolutely beautiful. And also, David, welcome. Yeah, something like that.
There's a young girl in the yard. The girl is dressed in a long, plain orange robe with a thick headdress. From the appearance of her clothes and from a skittish, fearful look about her, Alexander gets the strong impression that she is a servant, or even worse, a slave. The serving girl appears to be stealing a quiet moment tending the rose bushes.
Well, hopefully... No.
Those flowers are too sweet for the likes of you. You've still got to do the breakfast dishes, make lunch, and clean the stables yet this morning. And get your veil back on. No one wants to look at your face.
Yes, stepmother.
We have our Arabian Cinderella. Yikes. Yeah, that was... That, Disney didn't go nearly that hard with the cruel stepmother in the Cinderella film. Now, I don't know about anything, David, even though I've beaten this game before. So please do share. I will look around for it, but I bet I'm not going to spot it.
Palm trees as graceful as gazelles wave in the warm tropical breeze. Red roses beautifully cover the top of the house's fence and gate arbor.
Huh. Interesting. You're correct, British. I totally don't understand how windmill plays into... Okay, here's what we'll do. Aha! Here's what we'll do. At some point in this playthrough, I will learn the secret of getting the stepmom
Alexander
to moon
doesn't
us.
want to intrude on private property unless he's been invited.
All right, fine, goody goody. So far, this doesn't feel like a place I need to map.
Hey, stranger, come join me. The water is wonderful, and I can show you the way to the next island.
All right, so this feels like a trap. Let's talk to him. See if...
Jump in. A little water won't hurt you.
I just feel like you're going to drown me.
Alexander, what are you doing in the sea?
What does it look like I'm doing? I'm swimming.
Yeah.
I mean, come join me. The water's wonderful. I can show you the way to the next island.
You know...
I said I'd show you how to get to the next island, didn't I?
He's definitely got a gleam in his eye, PJ. Well, all right, this feels like an obvious instant death, but let's find out.
That's strange. The young boy in the water just disappeared. Oh well, perhaps he just dove under the water.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, I think I missed my chance to bumble into the death there, which is, I guess, fine by me. We foiled his plan by dilly-dallying. Let's look around.
An old canvas bag full of sand hangs off the side of the boat. It was most likely used as a bumper when docking the boat against the pier, but it's rather pointless now.
Hey, free sand.
Alexander wouldn't know what to do with the old bag of sand.
At the very least, it's an excellent clubbing weapon. In the, not in Othello, the Shakespeare play, but in the Decameron, Boccaccio's Decameron, the source story for Othello, Othello and Iago kill Desdemona. Thank you, British. I look forward to it. Othello and Iago beat Desdemona to death with a sock filled with sand. think Shakespeare was like, this maybe we can have a better dramatic impact if we do this a little differently. Can we go below deck? Oh.
Yeah, what do you want?
Alexander promises himself that he
That
will
is
not
where
go
they got the
home
name for
until he
Jafar's
has
parrot.
determined what Casima's feelings are for him, and if she needs his help.
Go away, the ferry's out of business.
All right, Mr. Jerk. Thanks a lot. Okay. Interesting. We're in a pretty confined little space right now, it seems. I have one item. I'm not sure what the curriculum rules are now, but I do know that the way it seemed to be set up when I was in high school was that, at least in high school, so like grade 10, grade 11, grade 12. Oh, sorry. I'm getting a call from Greg right now. I should answer this. Hang tight, gang.
Old lamps for new. Old lamps for new. Old lamps for new. Old lamps for new. Old lamps.
All right. Yeah, I shot Greg a text asking him when he'd be free for me to drop the stuff off immediately before starting the stream. And so then I ignored all of his follow-up texts. Excuse me, window person.
Seems busy with his chores and isn't interested in Alexander.
Okay. I'm going to go back in the pawn shop. I feel like probably I shouldn't pawn the royal insignia. What's this?
Alexander takes a mint.
Ho ho, free mint. What's this?
Alexander takes a closer look at the items on the counter.
Okay, here we go.
Have you an interest in tinder boxes? This one is only slightly battered. It holds a good supply of flint, a sturdy striking pad, and even a candle in case you find yourself with naught else to hold the flame. Ah, yes, the painter's brush. It was well used by one of the island's best painters. There's a lot of creativity in that brush, and its bristles are still in good condition.
Cool.
The flute is only made of plain wood, but its notes are fine and true. I see you have noticed my mechanical nightingale. She is made of plain tin, but she sings the sweetest song you can imagine, barely distinguishable from the real thing.
Okay. Neat. I don't think I want to take any of these yet. Maybe I do. Hold on. Can I pawn the royal insignia? Yeah, I was saying, British, the first time I came in here that I appreciate the whimsy of the taxidermist who was like, you know what? Let's take this magnificent creature and make it do a silly double bicep pose like it just killed a rabbit in Mordavia.
Can you tell me, merchant, what the value of this ring might be?
By the sands of the sea, what a beauty! What fine gold and masterful artistry! This ring is quite valuable, sir. I would not feel right taking it in trade. None of the items on display in my humble store are even close to the value of this ring.
Truly? Well, it would be hard to part with it anyway, I suppose.
Okay. Worth a shot. Any more dialogue?
Good day, merchant. What can you tell me about the land of the Green Isles?
No.
I can tell you she is in a dark time. Without the ferry, communication between the islands has ground to a halt.
Okay.
And so nearly has my business. Why the long ages of peace have ended, and why the crown has not done something about it is beyond me. But then, I am a shopkeeper, not a politician, and can only hope for better days.
Well, I don't know how much you need to know about politics to know that if the king and queen are dead, and the evil Grand Vizier, the obviously evil Grand Vizier is in charge, that you are dealing with a situation
Good day again. How may I help
where
you?
politics are not proceeding with the best interests of the citizenry in mind.
The fireplace can provide Alexander with nothing but warmth.
But can I read the book?
Alexander rests his feet for a moment. Alexander picks up and leafs idly through a book called The Changing Role of Court Entertainers Through the Ages. Well, that was refreshing.
Well, let's look around everywhere.
Alexander is a little old for those children's books. Right now, Alexander is too involved with the journey he's on to take time to read about the journeys of others.
What's this?
There's a small table near the door that bears a sign. The sign has undergone a number of changes. It once read 10 pence, but that was crossed out and replaced with 5 pence, then 1 pence, then free. The sign currently reads, "Take one, please." Only one book remains on the table. It looks like the bookshop owner really wants to get rid of that book.
You don't gotta ask me twice.
Alexander picks up the book from the small table.
Oh, yes, please, take that book. You have my most humble thanks for doing so, good sir.
Really? Thanks.
Sweet. Free book. Any more dialogue, Mr. Shopkeeper?
How fare you, merchant?
Quite well, thank you. I just finished a wonderful book on geological rock formations. Fascinating.
I read a terrifying long-form article from like 8 years ago in the New Yorker last night about the Cascadia fault line in the Pacific Northwest and the inevitability of a horrible disaster at some point that can't be predicted with enough precision through the science of geology. Just absolutely terrifying. Very, very happy to be on the East Coast after I read that. Okay. Well, we have a book now. And a mint.
The small green mint looks very tasty. Alexander is carrying a book from the bargain table in the bookshop.
Okay. Can I learn from it?
Alexander opens the bargain book and reads a paragraph at random.
2 dulcimers raised to the degree of 40 half-dulcimers, divided into equal parts by the third of a cackle of grouse geese, put over the result of 10 fine mackles, albeit small fine mackles, stretched over the total of 53 1/8 bottles of wild beast lard.
Phew, what an incredibly boring book. No wonder the bookshop owner wanted to get rid of it so badly.
Okay. At some point, I'm going to get someone to read that book so they fall asleep. Also, did the Alexander voice actor pronounce the word albeit? Or alternately, have I been mispronouncing that word my entire life? Okay. What to do and where to go? Those are the questions. Well, let's, as is King's Quest tradition, make sure to backtrack a little. Can I swim out? Is there something concealed by these fronds?
Alexander has no wish to disturb the green plants.
No, Alexander's too good a guy.
Alexander has no taste for salt water.
He's not going to drink it, but will he go in it?
The ocean is not as calm as it appears. Underwater currents tug at Alexander's legs.
Okay, fine. I can take the hint. Okay, so pretty confined space. And I'm really quite unsure what what my goal might be. So let's start revisiting places and click around and see what happens. Back up to the castle. If we had a day-night cycle, I would be trying that out.
Please, if you'll only be reasonable. I really must see the princess.
Begone! You're not welcome at the castle, Prince Alexander of Daventry. We have our orders, and they are quite clear.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's see if... Can these guys be tempted to read? Or alternately, if I cure their dog breath with a mint, will they appreciate me?
I really must get inside the castle to see the princess. Perhaps this will convince you.
Begone! We have no interest in anything you carry. You are not welcome at the castle.
Okay. No. Oh, let's try. I think they're probably telling me quite truthfully that they don't care. But I have so few items. It's not hard to try the... Yeah. Okay. Same dialogue. We're not going in that way. That's fine. Okay. Can I call up?
Alexander's voice simply bounces back at him from the flat surface of the wall.
No. Okay. Can we go into the grass? Can we go off screen to the right?
Blocked by heavy foliage.
Nope. It's just foliage.
The narrow path ends.
The narrow path ends with boulders. Okay, so we have this place which feels like a place for a clandestine meeting with a princess up in a window. I guess it couldn't hurt. Can I eat the mint?
Why would Alexander want to use that on the castle wall?
I was trying to use it on himself.
Alexander sees no use for that item there.
Nope. Okay. Okay. All right. Random thought. Real adventure game logic thought. But if I read the boring book in the little pavilion, will I fall asleep? They don't notice I'm there and they go away.
There's no reason to put that in the hut.
No, but...
There's no reason. There's no...
No. Alexander's not going to read while he's in here. Is that how he always stands? Yeah. Okay. I was like, is he standing really stiff because he's hiding when I put him in there? No. No, Alexander is just a very, I guess, because, of all the horrific abuse he endured, probably, stand up straight. I don't like sloppy servants, from Manannan. Can we go over here? Nope. Okay, so it's just a small area of a few screens. Doesn't seem like the right thing to do to trick the old man into reading the sleepy book so I can rob him. And yet...
Would you accept this in exchange for one of your lamps, peddler?
I am only interested in old lamps, son. Sorry.
No. His system is pretty straightforward. Can I pause? No, the boring book feels like it feels so obvious that hold on, have I looked just in this pot?
Alexander examines the large pot. It's currently empty, but a few scraps in the bottom indicate that it is used as a dump site on occasion. Alexander is not in the market for pottery just now, and the battered chest does not interest Alexander. It's probably full of plain earthenware.
What if that plain earthenware includes an old lamp?
Good day.
Any different dialogue? Can I pawn the boring book?
How bide you, good merchant?
Quite well, though a purchase would not hurt me any.
Oh, I don't doubt it. You,
Would you be interested in trading for this book?
I am afraid not. Books are more my neighbor's line of work. After all, I would not want him selling curiosities.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And obviously the neighbor's not going to want it. He's not going to want me to give him the mint. Okay. What are these giant bat wings? Keep going back into places.
Good day again. How may I help you?
I don't know, really.
A plaque bearing a merchant crest hangs over the doorway. The bookshop owner must be proud of his credentials.
Yeah, he seems like the kind of guy who'd be proud of, running a good shop and being part of the Merchants Guild. I can't go in here if I'm not invited.
Alexander has not been invited to pick the family's roses.
Oh man, Alexander. Okay. Obviously there's something to do with Cinderella there, but what? Can I get down somehow? No. Can I jump in the water and get drowned by that weird spirit? The tricksy
Considering
spirit?
the poor condition of the shore, it looks like the easiest way to get into the water is just to jump off the pier. The powerful currents grab Alexander. Struggle as he might, he feels himself being pulled out to sea.
But is this good?
The currents around the island pull Alexander under. As Alexander struggles to the surface for the third and last time, he finds himself wishing he'd paid more attention to the warning signs of an undertow.
Wow.
Next.
Nothing like getting swept off your feet.
That's quite a game over screen. Okay.
I said the ferry's out of business. What do you want to keep bothering me for?
I don't know, sir. Hold on.
Excuse me. My name is Alexander. The owner of the bookshop in the village told me you might be able to help me. I hear you used to run this ferry for the islands. I'd like to talk to you if you have a moment.
You say old Allie sent you? I can't see why. The ferry's not running, you know.
I understand. I'd just like to talk to you about the islands if you don't mind.
Well, I guess it'd be all right if Allie sent you. Well, don't just stand there. Come on inside.
Okay. So what I was missing
Wanted to talk about, young man.
was that when I previously tried to talk to that guy the first time I brought him out, and I got dialogue that just said, Prince Alexander isn't ready to leave the Green Isles. I thought, okay, this is for much later. I had accidentally clicked on the ship itself and not the guy. Yeah. It's all who you know, David. Okay. Well, let's do it. Let's have a talk. Actually, what's this on the table?
There's a rabbit's foot on the table. It seems the ferryman is counting on a little luck.
I'm probably going to need that rabbit's foot.
I'm a visitor to these islands. I'd like to learn what I can about the area.
So you said outside. What is it you want to know?
Well, for one thing, why has the island's only ferry been dry docked?
Huh. It just ain't safe to sail these days. What with the islands feuding and all. Vizier Alhazred ordered the ferry closed till things settled down. Me, I don't think she'll ever see water again.
But why are the islands feuding?
You got me. Something about stolen property or some such thing. 'Tis a real shame. Things used to be so friendly.
Then this unrest is recent.
A few years is all, but it's been long enough.
Perhaps if the ferry were repaired.
This old thing? This ferry's been out of water so long she's no longer even seaworthy. Her boards have dry rot. She'd fall apart at the first taste of seawater.
But there must be some way to get off this island.
There's only one other way to travel that I know of. A magic map. The owner of the pawn shop can tell you more about that than I can, Alexander.
Okay.
Tell me more about the ferry.
I remember when I used to ferry Queen Ilaria and Princess Casima themselves. There was no thought of danger back then. They used to go visiting to care for the needy and to keep up the friendly relations between the islands. I remember their last trip. Things had started getting nasty by then, and when they came back aboard, I gathered that the Queen and the Princess had been received a bit coldly. Princess Casima was such a pretty thing, and she was terribly upset. But who could be spreading these lies, she asked the Queen, but the Queen had no answer.
What do you do now that the ferry no longer operates?
Me? I'm out of a job. The job my ancestors have held for generations. I'm the only one trained to avoid the reef and the rocks. But that knowledge does me no good now.
Is there no other boat on the island? One that might be more seaworthy?
Boats don't last long on these shoals, as you may have found out if you got here by ship. You can be quite sure that this old ferry is, or was, the only craft on the island.
Tell me more about Princess Casima.
Ah, such a beautiful child, and so pure of heart. Why, a contrary thought has never crossed her mind. Her mother was the same. The king and queen, they served the islands, not the other way around, always thinking about the people. They are sorely missed.
What else can you tell me about the land?
Let's see. The Isle of Wonder's a lovely spot. A bit crazy, mind you. Gotta have a good sense of humor to enjoy a tour there.
Okay.
What else can you tell me about the land?
The Isle of the Beast is pretty, but unfortunately, you can't get very far onto the island.
Because of the beasts?
What else can you tell me about the land?
The inhabitants of the Isle of the Sacred Mountain are the most gorgeous creatures you'll ever see. If you ever get to see them, that is.
What else can you tell me about the land?
The Castle of the Crown sure is a beauty. She's the finest palace ever built, I'll warrant.
What else can you tell
What else
me?
can you tell me about the land?
Some say that the land of the Green Isles is near the edge of the world, and that the deadly currents are a result of a magnetism that sucks life from this world to the next. Of course, that's just silly talk.
Oh no! If you can test this theory out by drowning, it turns out to be true.
What else can you tell me about the land?
Let's see. The Isle of Wonder's a lovely spot.
All right, great. Good talking to you.
Well, I think I'll be going now. Thanks for allowing me into your home.
Posh, not at all. It breaks the boredom, if you know what I mean.
As soon as I leave, I get the feeling that I should have tried clicking on the rabbit's foot to see if Alexander could be like, would you trade a mint for this or something? Well, let's just go back and find out what happens. I can rapidly click through the dialogue.
There's nothing of interest on that particular part of the table.
What?
I see you have a rabbit's foot.
Okay.
Has it brought you much luck?
As you can see, my luck's been out for some time now, despite that old charm. Why don't you take it with you? Perhaps giving the darn thing away will bring me good fortune at last.
Perhaps it will at that. Thank you.
There we go.
I'm a visitor to the...
So you...
Well? But why are the islands...
You got...
Then this on...
Up you...
Perhaps...
This old...
But
There's only...
Tell me more about the ferry.
They used to go... I remember... Princess...
What do you do now that the ferry...
Me?
Is there...
Boats...
Tell me more about Princess Casima.
Ah... Her
She's
mother...
a great kid. Never a contrary word.
What else can you tell me about the land?
I'm not sure it's important for Alexander to know this
What
stuff,
else
but...
What else can you tell...
The castle of the crown...
What else...
Some say that the land of the Green Isles...
What else...
Let's see. The Isle of Wonders a lot...
Boom. Perfect. Okay. There.
Well, I think I'll be going now. Thanks for allowing me into your home.
Posh, not at all. It breaks the boredom, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, like what if... probably you can get back in there, but like what if you can't? And like the, you know, the rabbit's foot is what you use at the very end to defeat Alhazred or something. Okay, we're coming along. Got 13 points. 12. Never mind. Sorry. I was overinflating my accomplishments. But at this point, I bet that talking to the pawn shop owner will pay dividends in information about a magical map.
Good day.
Our creepy fellows here.
A mysterious old man also patronizes the pawn shop. He steals sidelong glances at Alexander from under his hood.
I like that they have a separate line of dialogue to describe the guy when he's in the pawn shop versus the bookstore.
Excuse me, merchant, but the ferryman mentioned that you might have a magic map of the land of the Green Isles.
Why, as a matter of fact, I do. I keep it under the counter. It's been gathering dust so long that I nearly forgot about it. It was quite a few years ago, you see. The estate of a wealthy wizard fell into my hands when he died. It was useless magical junk mostly, which reminds me, I've still got some things of his in the back that I need to dump out. Anyway, the magic map was the one true treasure in the lot. The wizard was quite old and feeble and had enchanted the map to aid in traveling. It is said that one need only desire to be on an island depicted on the map to find oneself there. It is a very valuable map, as you can imagine. Unfortunately, no one is interested in traveling these days. It is far too dangerous with the current state of the kingdom.
What would you take for the map?
I would normally want something magic in return, but since I am hardly overrun with prospective buyers, I would be willing to take anything of equal value in exchange.
But wouldn't something of equal value be something magical? Go back to this now that I'm actually... Okay. Seems like a long shot, but you like this rabbit foot?
Would you be interested in making a trade for this, merchant?
A rabbit's foot. I do not believe I could use that.
No luck. There's no way he wants a free mint back. We know he won't take the royal insignia. Or will he now that there's something magic on the table?
Would you be willing to take my family ring in exchange for the magic map?
Daventry, are you a king then?
No, that's my father, King Graham. I'm just Alexander.
Well, Prince Alex, she is a beautiful ring. Are you sure you can part with such a unique family heirloom?
The ring does mean a lot to me. I didn't always have a family, you know. Still, it is only gold. There are more important things at stake now.
Then you now own a magic map, Prince Alex. I will keep your ring out of sight for a few days. If you find anything else of great value in your travels, you can come back for your ring. I would hate to see it melted down for gold. Ah, and a warning about the map. It will only operate when you are out in the open and within sight of the sea. The limitation has something to do with the teleport spell ingredients. You might try the beach.
Thank you. You are very kind. And I'll remember about the map.
Oh.
Suddenly, the old man in the concealing cloak sneaks past Alexander, and with a sneaky dart of his hand, steals a mint from the candy jar. The old man stuffs the mint into his mouth and wobbles unsteadily out of the pawn shop.
Okay. The mystery of the shady guy deepens. Oh.
Master! I followed Prince Alexander as you wished. From the pawn shop owner, he just abstained.
This was not the voice I was expecting.
He just got a magic map. You fool! You've been eating those mints again. I ordered you to stop that. Yes, Master. Now, what is this about a magic map? With the map, Prince Alexander could travel anywhere as quickly as I can.
He's drunk off mints.
The only means of travel. By my scimitar,
Which I guess is a clue about what I'll eventually want to do with the mint.
Get a hold of yourself and listen carefully, Shamir. Go to the other islands and tell them...
Okay. Yeah. Not at all what I was expecting from that particular character. This game is obviously a big step up in writing and acting so far. And I think the Alexander sprite looks a bit better than the Graham sprite. One thing Corey Cole was saying in that blog comment I was talking about, where he was revealing the palette gimmick that they did, was that having the only 64 characters for the characters themselves was limiting, since they needed space in that 64 color palette for characters to have wildly different colors. So it's not like you have 64 colors that naturally make sense for the sprite that you're working on. Okay. Prince Alexander loves a good magical map. But before we hit the road to a different Green Isle, let's swing by the castle once more and see if anything changed up. Nothing on this screen, but this might not come up until... This might be like an end game sequence. Like go into the castle of the Crown Castle and find Casima. Defeat Alhazred. Who I'm going to assume his first name is Abu. No. Abdul. Abdul Alhazred. Okay. Well. Let's give it a shot. This is not Prince Alexander's first go at a magical map.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Okay. So we're on the Isle of the Crown. I feel like the order in which our friend, the ferry captain, told us about the islands is probably a nudge in the direction of how to travel them. Let's find out. So far, nothing in this game has jogged my memories of having played the entire thing before with my friend at all. And this is no exception.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
The "you're getting points" jingle. Oh, that's a fun animation. think I did get points both for opening the map and for clicking on the Isle of Wonder. Let's look around. What's up? Oh, it's clams.
Oyster beds line the
Oysters.
seashore.
Oyster
Most
beds.
of the oysters are sound asleep.
Except for this obvious awake oyster. Ooh, what's this?
The blue ocean stretches on for as far as Alexander can see.
I was more interested in the...
A string of letters floats in the water. The letters spell out, "Where are you going?" Alexander's heard of alphabet soup, but this is ridiculous.
Can we take the letters?
Alexander wades into the sea to get the strange object in the water. The ocean currents tug at Alexander's legs. That object is just a bit out of reach.
All right, not falling for that any further. We'll wait until Alexander has like a long reaching claw or something. Okay. Excuse me, Mr.
Why
Clam.
aren't you asleep like the other oysters?
Oh, I'm so weary, but I can't sleep. I have a terrible ache in my mouth.
Oh.
What's wrong with your mouth?
No offense, but it hurts too much to talk.
Okay. I don't think this is the solution, but let's try it. Because if it wasn't for the mouth detail, if she was just like, I can't sleep, I'd be like, gotta read her the boring book.
If you're having trouble sleeping, perhaps you'd like me to read to you.
Actually.
Hey, that would be great.
2 dulcimers raised to the degree of 40 half-dulcimers, divided into equal parts by the third of a cackle of...
He made note of that paragraph
and
earlier.
over the result of 10 fine mackles, albeit small fine mackles, stretched over the total of 53 and 1/8 bottles of wild beast lard. Yields a gilded minnow of precise measurements. 2,000.
That happens again, I gotta grab that pearl.
By 3,023 and 6/7 puns, not punts, as might be expected. This is not to say, however, in any sense
Otherwise, we gotta
whatsoever,
reload.
that deviations in mean temperature of 5 or 6 dregs or so.
Alexander makes a grab for the pearl.
Hey, you fixed my mouth. It feels great.
The little oyster drifts into peaceful slumber with the rest of his oyster friends.
Hooray! We're off to a great start on the Isle of Wonder. Can we get it now that it's right here?
Alexander picks up the object floating in the water.
The waiting
It
game.
appears to be a string of letters. They say, "Where are you going?" Alexander decides to keep the odd sentence, even though it is incomplete.
Oh. Looks like we can go both east and north. Let's find out.
Alexander hears someone coming.
"5 fierce guards of the isle we be. Watch for a foreign man," said he, "with ears and nose, tongue, hands, and eyes. Its nature cannot be disguised. If mad it be, then mad it dies. Old Tantro, smell your smell. Do that which you do so well."
Okay. I think I gotta trick these guys into thinking that I'm not a human.
The flawless pearl.
Pearl. But how? Feels like the mint. If I have to trick all 5 of these, I'm gonna call them sense gnomes. Then it seems like the mint would be how to trick the taste guy. I don't know. Let me just wait and see. Do they Smell me and then kill me? Not allowed to talk.
Alert, my brothers, as we feared, a man has landed here.
A man, so Sailor knows, into the waving sea he goes.
Oh my.
The gnomes toss Alexander too far out into the sea for him to get his footing. The currents drag him under.
Yeah. Like, the sight guy wasn't in front. So that should be the exact moment to make a break for it.
Tickets. Oh. Next.
Guess those gnomes couldn't reach a consensus.
No, they did. They reached a very clear consensus that they had to kill me, which they then executed flawlessly. Okay, so if I have to trick all 5 sense gnomes, let's take a look. Who's messaging me now? Excuse me just a moment. Oh, yeah. No, that wasn't a new text, but Greg, I can see that Greg must have sent me several text messages culminating in one that's like, I'm going to ask again, can you give me a hard time that you're coming over? I should not have texted Greg immediately before starting the stream, or I should have said that that's what was happening. Okay. This feels like it's almost certainly how to trick the taste guy. And I don't, like, this will trick the touch gnome, the one with the big hand. This will probably trick the taste gnome. I don't see what's going to trick the scent gnome, so perhaps we should keep on going.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
See what the Isle of the Beast is all about.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Here we are. Got
A little fawn is feeding on a grassy hillock near the sea.
Is it a talking fawn?
The fawn is too busy eating to pay attention to Alexander.
No. What else do we have?
Alexander is standing at the edge of the sea on a heavily forested island. As far as the eyes can see, tall trees spread out their branches as though straining to link arms, their tops forming a canopy above. A path leads north through the forest.
It's awfully bright for a canopied forest.
Nearby, the stump of a fallen tree still spreads its roots to the sea.
Is there anything inside it, though?
If the tree stump is hiding anything, it's only local fauna. There's no need to disturb some creature's nest.
The later King's Quest games really want to be like, just stop it. We're done with the hiding things in stumps and hollows. Well, what happens? Okay, that doesn't look promising. Excuse me, are you a talking rabbit?
Isn't quite lonely enough to talk to a rabbit.
Okay. Can I traumatize the rabbit? No. Because it left. This doesn't look...
Pond lies across the
Hey!
path. The water boils as if over some
An old
magical
lamp.
flame. A pond lies across the... The forest is dotted with clumps of wild mushrooms. Alexander is traveling on a path through a dense forest. An old abandoned hunter's lamp is hanging on one of the trees. Alexander wonders who might have hunted in these dense woods.
Okay. Seems wildly unlikely that I can take the lamp.
To get to the lamp, Alexander must first cross the pond.
Okay. So cross the pond, which I do not think I can do right now. Can I pick a mushroom?
Ouch! That water is hot.
That would free up the
Alexander,
mint
being
for
expert
another
on
one of the...
poisonous mushrooms, decides not to take a chance on tasting the local variety.
I'll try anything once, David.
Listen here, Pond. I wish to pass.
The pond, rather hot-headedly, refuses to respond.
Okay, he gave it a shot. I respect him for trying. All right. Let's do the thing that we know isn't going to work.
Alexander decides to brave the boiling pond. And soon realizes a deep sympathy for soup vegetables as he learns the true meaning of being in a stew.
The true meaning of being in a stew.
Next.
It looks like Alexander's in a bit of a stew.
Yeah, you already made that joke, narrator. Okay. Well. Might as well poke things.
Alexander has no need to carry around large rocks.
What about
The denseness
sticks?
of the forest makes
No.
it inadvisable to stray from the path.
And yeah, okay. Can we taunt the rabbit?
Alexander doesn't want to alter the forest. Alexander doesn't want to alter the forest.
Okay, can we catch the rabbit? If we can, I had to do it beforehand. What are you going to do with the rabbit? Throw it in the pond, make rabbit stew.
Alexander would look pretty silly diving for that rabbit. There's no way he could catch it with his hands.
Well, that's a clue. But I don't see how I'm going to catch him with any of this stuff. So, okay. Can we talk to the raccoon living in the...
Alexander is greeted with silence.
Nope. Okay. Isle of the Beasts? Limited thus far. Oh.
Alexander pulls out his...
Let's go to the Isle of the Sacred Mountain. See what's there. Taking stock.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Shoo. Well. Looks like we're getting free items at least.
Something etched into the face of the cliff. Alexander decides to get closer.
Ignorance kills, wisdom elevates.
The rock has been etched by some unknown hand. One may need to read about the logic cliffs in the guidebook to the land of the Green Isles in order to understand this mystical inscription.
Well, that sounds like a clue to read the manual, which we're going to do in just a moment. I'm going to run to the washroom, gang. It's a brief intermission here. Hang tight. I'll be right back with you. And we're back at it. Hey, Juffawut! Welcome. Okay. So, the game rather unsubtly told me to read the manual for more information. So let's read the manual for more information. Okay, King's Quest. Here's the manuals for King's Quest 4 through 6 in a single PDF. Okay, here we go. Taking a look. Scrolling down. Okay, here is the long manual. The logic cliffs. Okay, here we go. One of the most intriguing artifacts left by the Ancient Ones are the logic cliffs. The cliffs are so named from a series of riddles written on the face of the cliffs, leading from the beach of the Isle of the Sacred Mountain to the Winged One's city. Chiseled painstakingly into solid rock, the viewer must question what purpose the words serve. From the ancient scroll that references the cliffs, it can be determined that the riddles on the cliff were part of an elaborate mechanism designed to protect those who dwelt at the top of the cliffs from undesirables that might arrive from the sea below. The mechanism may have served as some sort of calling device designed to alert those at the top of the cliffs that a brother required admittance, or perhaps led to secret chambers within the rock itself. Whatever the cliff's purpose was, it was obviously built to admit only those indoctrinated into the secrets of the Ancient One's culture, and for that reason is, alas, yet unsolved by those who live today. The following translations from the Cliffs of Logic scroll may help the reader to understand the mystique that surrounds these artifacts. The first challenge. Only those pure of heart will be able to rise the Cliffs of Logic. Rise in all caps. Okay. Third challenge. Stones of Stealth are... Okay. I don't need a clue for the third challenge. Well... Ooh, it's snowing out. Let's see. Can I touch stuff? Yes? Well, let's give this a shot. I-S...
Huge blocks of stone erupt from the granite cliffs.
That one felt less like a riddle.
Alexander stares with wonder. That's quite a way to welcome a guest, if indeed it is a welcome.
Neat. Yeah, that felt less like a riddle or a logic puzzle than it felt like copy protection. But we'll see how it goes from here. I do like logic. Free feather?
Alexander takes the feather.
Very good. Free plant?
Alexander picks the flower and is startled by its hideously strong skunk-like odor. For a moment, he can smell nothing else.
Brilliant. Okay, let's take a look here. With the stench flower, we fool the scent gnome. With the mint, I presume we fool the taste gnome. This will fool the touch gnome. What are the other senses? Hearing. And sight. Sight, of course. So, I don't have everything I need to defeat the sense gnomes yet, but we're amassing stuff, and we can climb the cliffs of logic. 25 points. We're on the way. Let's go.
The steps cannot be moved any further backwards or forwards.
Yeah, sure thing. But what I was thinking...
Alexander cannot get to that step from here.
Okay, I get it. This is good. This justifies making me click on each individual step. the presentation here is effective. Okay. Obviously, you got to go up to the next logic puzzle. There's no hint in the book. Does that mean it can be internally solved? Or will I need to learn something from somewhere else in the game?
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
A master of languages will... Okay. I noticed on my way to read the section on the logic cliffs themselves that there was previously a page with the key to the language of the Ancient Ones. So, is there a message to this? I'll check for a message first. Let's see. Trying to find that first letter at the top. Okay. Let's skip right ahead. Let's skip trying to translate this as a message on the assumption that actually what I've got to do here is spell the word rise again, just in a different language. So what is R? R is a complex glyph, as many of these are. It's this one. R. I sort of looks like a... Yeah. Yeah, this puzzle is when you're just given the key. Nah. And not only have I played Chants of Sennaar, with its multiple glyph-based languages, I have also been playing Ultima, and I do not use any of those patches to make the runic script disappear. This is the I. What's an S? Another weird-looking thing. It's this one. And the E sort of looks like a foot or a snake hanging down from a tree. No luck. Can't unclick them. Okay. Can we look away?
Nothing happens.
Oh, but... Oh, man. I think this is probably not what it is. And yet now I have to do it again and see if looking away is a necessary step. Doesn't make sense. R, I, S, E.
Nothing happens.
Okay. A master of languages will...
Alexander examines the...
A master of languages will read... It's worth a shot. R, E. Is this A? A. And then D is like a crown on a stack of checkers.
Nothing happens.
Okay.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
Master of languages will know? As in, know what to do. Okay, the K is this one. The N is this one. I feel like it's got to be a 4-letter word just because of this portion of the puzzle. But that could be a master of languages will translate. KNO looks like a face. And W is 3 backwards E's.
Nothing happens.
Okay. A master of languages will Well, put a pin in this one for
The
now.
steps cannot be moved any further backwards or
All
forwards.
right. Yeah. I get you. Head back down. For now. All right. So far, I'm really liking the island structure. And the fact that it's not, the game isn't just go to one island, complete the quest there, go to the next island. But in fact, we're going between them because it opens up, you got room to mess around. Okay. Pardon me. What's the story with the feather, though?
Alexander is carrying an unusually large black feather.
It's unusually large. Okay. Once again, what do I have covered? Touch gnome, scent gnome, taste gnome, probably. Hearing gnome could, like, there's a flute. Do you blow the flute? And he's like, yeah, that doesn't sound like a person. You just stay quiet. Sight gnome, hold up the sign. He's like, no, this is just a sentence. It's not a person. I don't know.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Okay. Let's go back to the Isle of the
Alexander
Crown.
feels a strange pulling sensation.
Both to see if anything's different just because, but also to see if the, do I have anything pawnable? Can I learn anything more? Free garbage.
Alexander sorts through the odds and ends that the pawn shop owner dumped into the pot. Magic exploding gum wrappers, a shattered crystal ball, a cracked wand, a fake thumb. Near the bottom, Alexander finds a little glass bottle labeled ink. It appears to be empty, but Alexander decides to take it anyway. You never know when a small bottle will come in handy.
Lamp guy's gone. All right, we have a little bottle now. Little ink bottle.
Alexander's carrying a little ink bottle. It appears to be empty.
26. We are on the path. All right. Well, not sure what the ink bottle.
Good day, Prince Alexander.
Good day. Good day. Let's take another look at the items.
Alexander takes a closer look at the items on the counter.
Tinderbox to make fire. Paintbrush for painting. Mechanical bird. Flute. I don't know.
I'm interested in that flute on the counter.
What do you desire to give me in trade? The items on the front counter are all of equally slight value, worth only a copper or two. They are handy items nonetheless.
Tricky stuff. I don't know. I don't know what to trade yet. I'm going to hold off. There's the double trick of what item can you trade? What should you trade? Is there some trap? Oops. He'll accept that, but now that you don't have it, you can't finish the game. Another scene Can I talk to her?
The girl is too far away to hold a conversation with Alexander.
What if I get closer? Too late.
Are you out here again? Have you finished the chores I gave you?
Yes, stepmother. The house and the stables are clean.
Then start polishing the silverware! Do I have to tell you everything?
Yes, stepmother. Right away.
The girl is too far away to hold a conversation with Alexander.
Okay. To some extent, the answer there is going to be give it time. Let the story play out. No sign of that weird ghost. I can't see why I'd be bothering the ship guy again, so I'll leave him be for the moment. Oh, didn't go back to the bookstore.
Hello. I will be right up. Now, what can I do for you?
I mean, she's definitely also waiting for a charming, handsome prince.
How fare you, merchant?
It's
Sufficiently well.
I don't know how easy it is because he's got to overcome his.
For more time to read.
Oh, sir, be extremely careful with that wish. Holy smokes. It's the kind of wish that can come true in an awful way. But yeah, Alexander would have to overcome his sense of politeness. He won't call to the girl. So unless she comes all the way to the wall, he can't talk to her unless someone invites him in. Well,
Alexander already has a pretty good grasp on his words.
No, that's not what I meant to do. Excuse me. What would you give me for these words?
There's no reason to use that on the books.
No, show it to the man.
Merchant, would you be interested in this?
No, thank you. I deal only in books.
Well, hold on, though. Ink?
Merchant, would you be interested in...
No.
So probably not going to get anywhere with being like, what about this quill?
Merchant.
No. Okay. I'm going to go back to the castle for a moment. See if there's anything new on the go over there. And then we'll dive into seeing if I can pawn stuff off. What little tea is left there is cold now, so I should pour myself some water. Excellent. Okay. I'm not going to win these dogs over with anything I've found. Head over this way. Nothing going on here. Okay. Back to the pawn shop, see if any of my new items are tradable. The pearl seems like, on the one hand, too valuable, and yet the most obvious, like, this is just an item for trading with thing. Ooh. That's a thought. Because somehow or other, that bunny's going to become catchable. It feels like.
Good day, Prince Alexander.
Good day, good day. Oh, dialogue? Should always check
How
the
fare you,
dialogue.
good merchant?
A man my age can only thank the heavens for continued strength, young sire.
And your coal black hair.
The pawn shop's counter is made of a sturdy teak. The wood is well worn by eager hands and well oiled by the shop's faithful keeper.
Narrator.
Alexander takes a closer look at the items.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Thank you. Okay. Which of these could possibly help me in any way? I don't know. I guess I gotta try the items on him to see what he'll trade for. He's probably not going to trade for his own garbage. Let's start with the pearl, because I don't see why he'd trade for his own free mint either.
I found this large pearl. Might it be valuable enough to ransom back my family ring?
I have never seen such a perfect pearl. Certainly you can have your ring back.
Plus one item of my
Glad you
choice?
didn't sell it. I'm a bit attached to it, I'm afraid.
Of course you are. You would be cold-hearted if you felt any differently. I am happy to see a family heirloom back with its rightful owner.
Okay, good. That's good, but it doesn't get me any free stuff. This feels like there's got to be a puzzle involving this phrase.
If Alexander wants to exchange one of his possessions for an item in the pawn shop, he'll have to arrange it with the pawn shop owner first by showing him the object for trade.
That's... Oh, but... Okay. I don't think it's going to work. I'm going to hold off for now, which might be foolish. Okay. Well, from there, I guess we've reached a key point where it's time to start, solving some mysteries. You know what? Why wouldn't I go back and talk to the ferryman? If possible. What if he has another useless good luck charm on his table? Alexander can just keep on being like, hold on, I noticed that you've got a 4-leaf clover. How's that working out for you?
Oh, it's you. Come on in.
All right.
How goes it, Alexander?
Oh, it's going well. It's going well.
What else can you tell me about the land?
Okay. No new dialogue. Can I show him some things? Do you like feathers?
Would you be at all interested in this?
Nah, what need is a poor dry dock ferryman for that?
Hey, when you get your business back up and running, where are you going is a good slogan.
That would serve no purpose.
Would you be at all in...
Nah.
No. Okay. He's not going to want any of this stuff. Okay. Hey, good chat.
Well, thanks again for your hospitality.
You're always welcome, Alexander. Come back anytime.
Very good. Okay. And now it's time to start poking around. I don't have too much longer to go today, because I got to go over to Greg's, as previously mentioned. But I'm going to see how far I can get in the sequence with the dwarves, confirm my theories, the gnomes, sorry. And, I did. Yes. I had to think about it for a moment there. But I did, and I don't think he had anything to say except...
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Oh, it was he wished he had more time to read. I said, be careful with that wish. That can backfire on you.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
All right. Back to the Isle of Wonder. Just to see if I can get anywhere here.
Alexander hears someone coming.
I mean, I'm very confident I can beat the smell gnome with the stench flower. Pardon me. And also fairly confident that I can't beat all 5 of them yet.
Guards of the isle we be. Watch for a foreign man, said he, with ears and nose, tongue, hands, and eyes. Its nature cannot be disguised. If mad it be, then mad it dies. Old Tom Troll, smell
It's a nice touch that the scent gnome needs to keep his nose plugged.
Alexander holds the flower of stench out to the gnome.
The flower of stench.
Tom Troll I am, that's all I'll be. My nose knows all on land and sea. A flower of stench has washed ashore. A flower 'tis all,
And nothing more. That's not a memory. That's just predicting a good rhyme. A well-structured rhyme.
Do your duty as you swore. With your ears, please tell us more.
Let's read him the book.
Alexander holds the item out for the gnome with the immense ears.
No.
My ears can hear nothing so clear as the sound of a man standing here.
What sound? Okay. So the hearing one is second. I gotta try to trade something for that flute.
The gnome
It feels like
Alexander
the music. He'll be like, "Oh, it's a bird,"
for him to get his footing.
or maybe I need the mechanical bird.
Him under.
All right. Horribly killed.
Tickets. Oh. Next.
Why is there a ticket taker when it seems like the tickets are distributed by a guy who's standing right there? Okay. Let's go back and see if any of this stuff is pawnable.
Alexander pulls out his magic map. Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
And I should read the manual with its extensive lore to see if there's any clue about what a master of languages would, 4-letter word. I'm not going to do that during the stream. I'll do that between now and next week. Boom, ba doom, ba doom, boom, boom. It's definitely a stereotypical union situation because there's those 2 unnecessary jobs and then 2 other guys are also there.
Good day.
Good day to you, sir. All right, let's take a look.
The pawn shop's counter is made.
Oh, come on. They want some very precision clicking. In light of the fact that the many of the cursors do not have any obvious target point.
I'm interested in that flute on the counter.
What do you desire to give me in trade? The items on the front counter are all of equally slight value, worth only a copper or 2. They are handy items nonetheless.
If only Alexander had thought to bring 8 copper with him. Like this big, weird feather?
Would you be interested in making a trade for this, merchant?
A feather? I think not, Prince Alex, but it is a very nice feather.
Well, hold on. If you acknowledge that it's a nice feather. What about the ink bottle?
I found this bottle in the pot outside.
That would make sense, since that is where I dumped it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Do you like signs?
If Alexander wants to exchange...
Oh, has it expired now? Or am I just...
Would you be
no,
interested in
it's a
making
clicking
trade
thing.
for this, merchant?
A sentence? I wouldn't have any idea what to do with that.
It's not feeling I mean, can I just...
Might I trade you this ring again, merchant?
I have nothing of value enough to trade for it except the pearl that you gave me. I would think you would prefer your family ring, but if you wish, I will trade it.
Thank you.
Okay, well that didn't feel necessary. Yeah. I had heard rumors about you royalty of Daventry and your love of trash. But okay. Alright, well... Maybe I need the pearl and
Might
not
I
the...
trade you this? Thank you for...
Who knows? But that might become relevant. Okay. Well, I need something else, probably. To trade with. So, before I wrap up here, let's do a little revisiting. Like if you're trying to trick the guy into buying back his own... Wait, can I talk to that? I should always try to talk to the birds, even if Alex, probably does not still have the hear the language of beasts putty stuffed in his ears all these years later.
Hello, Nightingale. What a lovely tune you sing.
The nightingale only looks at Alexander suspiciously and continues to sing.
Okay. But perhaps I'll be able to learn the nightingale's song when I have a flute. And then thereby use the flute to... Maybe get the flute, use the flute on the nightingale. Alex learns the song. Then you play it, and the ear dwarf is like, it's just nightingale. The ear gnome. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. I don't want to offend any dwarves or any gnomes in the audience. Being a little bit chaotic with the save files right now. I guess I'm just being optimistic.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Well, okay.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Check all 3 aisles once more. Why would an ink bottle fix the river?
That would have no effect on the boiling pond.
It wouldn't. There's no reason. No reason that would work. What about this magic feather of coldness?
No effect on the boiling pond.
Nope. Okay. Is this a really cool mint?
That would have no effect.
No. The mint is definitely to trick the taste gnome. What does the sentence say again? It's just, where are you going?
Carrying, oddly enough, a sentence. It says, "Where are you going?"
Why is there a colon after the letter E, after where? Where? are you going? Like it's asking if you're going to a place called where.
Alexander has no taste for salt water. The trees have...
Does not want to drink that salt water.
Alexander has no need.
Large rock would fix the hearing gnome. He's listening. Bash his head in. Problem solved.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Okay.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
Back to the Isle of the Sacred Mountain. So I guess, all right, after saying I wasn't going to do this, I guess I should read a bit about the ancients. Okay. One thing, because I wasn't looking at anything beyond just the glyphs to the letters, but the symbols represent a concept or feeling, an animal, a color, and an object. An emotion, a color, a creature, and a natural or metaphysical element. Okay. There's no clue for the third of the logic glyphs. Okay. Okay. Let me just read quickly. As quickly as I can. I won't read it out loud. See if anything jumps out at me. Boom. Okay. Okay. One more little section on the ancient ones themselves. I'll read this more carefully later. I think that's what I'm reading, Clef. Yes. But I definitely need to actually hunker down and read it. And hello, by the way, Clef. A master of languages will soar. The answer is just right there.
The steps cannot be moved any further backwards or forwards.
I've done it again. Okay. Let's do it. Perhaps I can clear the logic cliffs. Which again, so far, these are not logic puzzles. These are copy protection puzzles. Nice scrolling animation there. Gives a sense of scale when the cliffs are actually all one big, tall drawing.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
Yeah, exactly. They're copy protection puzzles for me, and just like cultural. It's like a I don't know about the first. That was definitely one where I just had to read the answer. But I'll withhold judgment on the fifth. But yeah, so far this is more like an immigration test. Okay, S, which I did learn. I had found it. I'll find it again. S. O, the one that looks like a face. A. And then R, which is right here.
The stone beneath Alexander's feet trembles
Ta-da.
as more steps emerge from the granite cliffs.
I just glanced at the clue for the third one, and the clue at least makes it sound like there's some kind of puzzle to it. Although it depends. It seems quite possible this one's going to be so simple that it is just a copyright protection puzzle. Let's find out. Yeah, she missed that in King's Quest 5. She was like, now that there's pathfinding. No, you know what? There were plenty of times that Graham would just randomly fall to his death.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of...
It's a new type of falling death. Okay. Oh, that's awesome. I'm making a mental note now to look at that later. Because I obviously can't do it now. Spoil the puzzle. All right. There's a riddle here. The third's challenge, the stones of stealth, are associated with this riddle. 4 men standing in a row. Third from the left and down you go. The rest in order move you on. The youngest, the oldest, and the second son. So then the question is just, do they age left to right or right to left? I'm going to guess left to right. Actually, I'm going to guess
Nothing happens.
that I'll be happy if I save before I try this. Because if I'm wrong, I don't want to climb back up the cliffs again after I load the save. So hold on. The youngest, the oldest, the second son. Oh, it's got to be left or right, because otherwise the second son would be the third that knocks me down. No?
Nothing happens.
Third from the left and down you... No, yeah, okay. The rest in order move you on. Youngest, the oldest, the second son.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
The youngest, the oldest, the second son?
The stone beneath Alexander's feet trembles as more steps emerge from the granite cliffs.
Not even sure how that makes sense. If all the way to the right is the youngest, and all the way to the left is the oldest. Oh, wait. No, that makes sense. Because of the order in which people are born. The second son is the second oldest. We're through it without plummeting to our death at all. Thank you, Clef, for your forbearance. Literally, like, I played this entire game. Not a single thing that has happened so far has rung a bell. And, like, it absolutely would have been my job to be, like, flipping through the manuals But I remember enjoying it. But like, yeah, it would absolutely have been my buddy doing the clicking. So when we did the Cliffs of Logic, I must have been the one like turning through the pages, finding the clues. But I don't remember that. The fourth one does not have a puzzle, a hint in the book.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
Sacred 4. Oh ho. All right. So, what are the Sacred 4? Okay. Oh, here's the paragraph. I believe. Great lovers of symbols, complex theology, which seem to worship all things aerial, though only fragments of their belief system are understood today. The ancient ones gave meaning to every creature, every color, every element and mineral. In addition, they studied the emotional states of being. Every emotion, like every creature, color, and element, ranked high or low on the theological scale. The lowest being base or primitive, the highest being pure. At the top of the scale were the Sacred 4. The emotion of tranquility, the color of azure, the creature caterpillar, and the element air. Okay. Well, let's find tranquility. The letter D represents tranquility. The letter D looks like a stack of tokens with a crown on it. Tranquility was followed by azure. Boom. Charcoal gray. Color azure. The letter O. Looks like a face. Then the caterpillar and then air. The creature caterpillar. And then it goes on to say, the caterpillar is a surprise. I saw that part. Oh, I was about to say, based on what I just read about them idealizing flight but not being able to fly, it makes perfect sense. And that actually says, the next sentence says, in their reasoning, however, it makes perfect sense. Because they want to become those who fly. So, what was I looking for? The color azure. Yes. Ochre, silver, olive, pink, white, sea green, red, royal blue, not azure, yellow, orange, green, hazel, brown, purple, amber, beige, gold, burgundy. Okay. Oh, no, there it is. O. I already did O. I pressed O. Oops. It's caterpillar now. My bad. Albatross, dove, the caterpillar, the letter Q, which looks like yeah, the ancient ones really like the idea of being able to fly. Haven't I pressed them all now? Hold on a second.
Nothing happens. Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
Yeah, I would be, give me the power of flight. I don't necessarily, I haven't built my whole identity around wishing I could fly. Okay. Tranquility, azure, caterpillar, air. Okay. D. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what I screwed up. Azure was O. Caterpillar was next, which was Q. Yep.
Nothing happens.
What are you talking about? What happened there?
Alexander
Ah, man.
examines the strange
Okay.
etchings in the face of the cliff.
Oh, man. Tranquility, which was D, followed by Azure, which is O, followed by Caterpillar, which is Q, followed by Air, which is G. So I just totally skipped G because I thought I was at the end. Okay, and the G looks like this. This is G.
The stone beneath Alexander's feet trembles as more steps emerge from the granite cliffs.
I'm enjoying this part, even if it's mostly just because this is cool lore. But it obviously, if you've spent enough time around here, you know that it's a little disappointing to me to be promised a cliffside of magical logic puzzles, and then none of them are logic puzzles. The classic Roberta, if just one of these stones breaks when you step on it, you got to know when it's time to make a leap. This one has a clue in the book.
Alexander examines the strange etchings in the face of the cliff.
All silent, cry the noble boulders. The fifth challenge. Only those of the highest order may ascend, in all caps, from the cliffs of logic. A. S. C. E. N. D.
The stone beneath Alexander's feet trembles as more steps emerge from the granite cliffs.
The start of that made me a little nervous. I gotta move fast now? Probably not. And yet, what else are we gonna do? Is there gonna be a sixth challenge?
Alexander finds himself finally at the top of the cliffs. Exhausted, he steps over the lip of the plateau and stands.
Why do you make such an effort to climb the cliffs, young man? The winged ones who live on this island have the power of flight. You could have it too, if you'd only eat a berry from this magical flying nightshade bush. See? The sweet berries will make you float like a petal on the wind. Try some.
PJ, I just cottoned on. I mean, like, I got this one, but I'm only just now putting it together with the other, with the young lad. This is nothing like what I was expecting from this character when he was just standing there looking intimidating with his golden eyes.
You insist on being rude.
Classic Alex. Just staring.
All right then. Stay tied to the ground like a load of lead. See if I care. You human.
How odd. The old woman just disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Perhaps those berries are even more powerful than she led Alexander to believe.
Fortunately, I know all about Nightshade, and also now I recognize the tell of the golden eyes. Can we go in?
The huge doors are locked tight. Somebody obviously wants to keep something out, or something in.
Ah, yes. Well, what does the door look like?
Huge doors are set into the solid rock of the mountain.
They're huge. They're set in the rock. Yep. Okay. Let's go down the road. Yes. I had that audience and didn't tie the... Even though I also noticed the glittering eyes of the kid in the water and PJ called them out, I didn't tie that together at that point. But now I get...
Look, an intruder. Hold! How did you get up here, human?
I climbed the cliffs.
That is not possible. No one has solved the cliffs of logic in several centuries. And if the cliffs were to be solved, it would certainly not be by a human.
I didn't mean to trespass.
The voice acting is terrific in this game. And not just by contrast with King's Quest V.
The sacred mountain in years. Not since the red and white queens had spies in the guise of friendly visitors steal our island's sacred golden fleece. But we will not display such foolish trust again. You will have to answer to Lord Azure and Lady Ariel. They will determine what will be done with you. I can assure you, it will not be pleasant.
Well, I hope it turns out to be pleasant. I'm going to hold out hope that this gets pleasant from here. They learned their lesson.
Did you master the cliffs of logic and reach the city of the winged ones?
Only the magic of clear thought, my lord. I meant no harm.
Yeah,
The cliffs of logic.
I read like 2 pages in a tourist guide.
Yes, Ariel. It is lucky for you, human, that climbing the cliffs of logic is part of a prophecy that I cannot ignore. We have just been ordered by Vizier Al-Hazred himself to dispose of any strangers that might land on our fair isle. But the prophecy would have a different fate befall you.
The prophecy predicts that whosoever climbs the cliffs of logic will defeat the Minotaur. The Minotaur has violated our sacred catacombs and eats our young in sacrifice. Our own daughter, Lady Celeste, was taken there only this morning as his most recently demanded offering.
A dilemma, then. Whom shall I obey in regards to your fate? The Oracle or the Crown? But since Al-Hazred did not dictate how I was to dispose of intruders, and since you cannot possibly survive the catacombs, your imprisonment there should serve both purposes quite admirably.
I will not resist you in this, my lord. I shall do my best to save your daughter.
First, I must tell you that the catacombs are a labyrinth of rooms, a place of exceeding danger. You will need many tools and clear wits to survive it.
Azure, he must be allowed time to prepare for the task, if only in the slight chance that he could actually save our Celeste.
Oh, very well. Intruder, my guards will take you to the beach. Prophesied hero or spy, any soldier must be granted time to prepare for battle. Be warned, if you have the courage to actually return to the Isle of the Sacred Mountain and face your destiny, my guards will have orders to take you to the catacombs on sight.
I understand, Lord Azure.
If by some miracle you succeed, human, the prophecy grants you a visit with the sacred oracle. Her powers are mighty, her vision all-seeing.
Stimpinski!
Many of our own citizens would be willing
Welcome.
to risk certain death in the catacombs for a chance at a meeting with the oracle. May that thought give you the courage to return.
Oh, I will return, Lady Ariel. You have my word.
Okay. Yeah, that adds up with the whole the dwarves, the gnomes, the sense gnomes. Oh my goodness, coming down, and okay. Yep, which he did because Alexander cannot do subtlety. The old man who's obviously spying on him. He's like, I should have a loud conversation about my plans. Okay, so is this all that I need? Probably not. In fact, I'd be willing to bet that unlocking the quest
Alexander pulls out
makes some changes elsewhere. At the very least, feels like gotta find a thread. I don't know. I have no new items, I don't think.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
A thought occurs to me. Am I in an unwinnable state because I didn't pick nightshade berries without eating them? So that, okay, so they, if you are prepared, it's a different, okay, great, great. But they're explicitly telling you, you don't have what you need. And that makes sense. At the very least, I would expect to need thread. Thank you, Juffawa. Revisit the places we can revisit?
Hello. I will be right up. Now, what can I do for you?
You have any books about killing minotaurs?
How fare you, merchant?
I have been reading too much love poetry lately. It is rather depressing to an old bachelor like me.
That's really well executed. Because it feels so natural that my assumption was actually initially just that they'll send you away and that progress flag makes it possible now to like get thread in another place. Thread feels like the, like a key item for dealing with catacombs full of minotaur. Sorry, did you?
How fare you, merchant?
Sufficiently well, thank you, Alexander. My only wish is for...
Yeah, more time to read. Okay. I didn't get any new items yet since... No. Nothing new to try to pawn. And I tried to pawn everything. Yeah, because he won't take the book. Obviously, I want the map. He didn't want any of this stuff. Okay. Okay. Is the Cinderella plotline going to advance? Nope. Yeah. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm now a used books and junk store. How do you like that? Probably nothing new here, but...
Oh, it's you. Come on in. How goes it, Alexander?
Oh, you know.
What else can you tell me about the land?
The inhabitants of the Isle of the Sacred Mountain are the most gorgeous creatures you'll ever see. If you ever get to see them, that is.
Lord Azure is pretty jacked. That's true.
Well, thanks again for your hospitality.
You're always welcome, Alexander. Come back anytime.
And Lady Ariel was you know, she's not a bad-looking lady herself. Okay. It's the essential detail when you're asking the locals for information to help in your quest.
Good day, Prince Alexander.
Good day. Good day. Got any new dialogue?
How fare you, good merchant?
I am as content as the sands on the ocean shore, Prince Alex.
Are they content? Are those sands content, sir? Not fully clear on what you're asking me. Hey, that's fair. But that's true of all the sands. And not specifically the ones on the ocean on the shore. Let's poke some stuff.
The little hut is empty.
Okay.
The bushes are probably not hiding anything useful.
Even this one?
Bushes are
What about this rock?
Alexander has
There's no need of large rocks. No need to carry around large rocks. It's a lesson I'll learn someday. Then we have this place. Where I don't see any obvious answer. Now, of course, it could be that the key answers are not obvious. I don't see why this would do anything,
There's
but...
no reason to use that on the ink bottle.
No. Okay. Like feather ink, you know. Okay. Well, now... Now what?
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
Might as well
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
recur to the other islands quickly. See if there's anything new or just if something I missed jumps out at me. Can't do anything here until I pass the quest of the gnomes. And I really do feel like the flute and the song of the nightingale are, or perhaps the mechanical bird. But something to, make that hearing gnome think I'm a bird. It's going to be the key there. Okay.
Alexander pulls out his magic map.
What about
Alexander
the old
feels a
Isle of the
strange
Beast?
pulling sensation. Why would Alexander want to put that in the tree stump?
I don't know. Is there something Alexander would want to put in the tree stump? You like ink bottles?
Why would Alexander...
I don't know, narrator. I'm just clicking on stuff. Throw the ink bottle at the old lamp.
Anything with the lamp, Alexander must first cross the pond.
I've got nothing that will obviously clean up the pond.
That would have no effect on... A pond lies across the path. The water boils as if over some magical flame.
Yeah, it definitely looks
Forested isle.
toxic. I guess that's supposed to be steam, but it looks way more like
Alexander is
poison
traveling
stench
the path
lines.
through a dense forest. The woods on either side of the path are teeming with wildlife. Blocking his progress north is a pond that boils with a magical intensity.
Okay. One last thought before I conclude today. Actually, hold on. Let's do the gimmick of...
Why would Alexander...
I don't know, but the fact that you have dialogue like this just makes me think maybe...
Why would Alex...
Okay, Mr. Narrator. Fine. At least it's not John Rhys Davies.
Alexander pulls out
This
his
withering
magic map.
sarcasm. Cutting me down.
Alexander feels a strange pulling sensation.
But one final and quite possibly very silly thought here. In fact, when I say quite possibly, I should say, this is definitely silly and not going to work. And yet, I might as well try it before I wrap up. Actually, before I try the thought, another thought is, what if the Cinderella story just advances after you've walked up to this screen enough times? Nah. Wait, did I see? I don't think I saw anything. And yet, it's very possible.
Alexander is standing on a dirt street leading through the village.
No.
The gate is closed.
Okay. It's quite possible that, the next step is all about noticing a very obvious, or not obvious.
Hello.
Noticing a
Now, what can I do for you?
something subtle. An object to
Alexander
click on
rests
and pick
his
up.
feet for a moment. Alexander picks up and leafs idly through a book called The Changing Role of Court Entertainers Through the Ages.
Okay.
Well,
No.
that was refreshing.
Nothing new there. Can I get a book about minotaurs now?
Alexander is a little old for those children's books. Alexander is not interested in those self-help books. Thinking of Casima, Alexander decides to leaf through one of the volumes of love poetry. He reads, "Thy hair, thy lips, thy beauteous face, and all thy studied female grace have won for thee anon a place within this broken breast." Not bad. And another. "Upon the shore the lilies bend, untouched by worldly care, where shadow they her earthly bed, oh, that she were not there." Yikes. And another. "What was it when I looked at you? What power has chained me through and through, and binds my heart with links so tight I cannot live without the sight of you. What nameless thing has captured me, and made me powerless to flee? What thing is it without a name, that brings my mind e'er back the same to thee? The name of love cannot apply, its commonness does not decry the haunted, hunted, painful cry that my heart makes for you, that e'er my soul eternal makes for you.
A little close to home, that one.
Alexander returned the love poem book to the shelf.
Oh ho 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 ho.
Alexander picks up the fallen page. It's the love poem he particularly liked. It must have fallen out of the poetry book.
I see that old volume has lost another page. You may keep it if you like, sir. I have glued the stubborn thing back in place 2 times already.
I do rather like it. Thank you, merchant.
Okay. He's just gripping the book so tightly that whatever page he spends the most time on, slowly his thumb is separating it from the spine. Okay. Well, there you go. I don't see how a love poem. Is there something else about the page?
Alexander has a love poem from a book in the bookshop.
Nope. Okay, well, what about this shelf?
Alexander isn't interested in the cookbooks on that shelf. He's had an aversion to cooking ever since he experimented with a certain cookie recipe involving cat hair and fish oil.
That's fair. I thought he would have the aversion just based on being a scullery slave for his entire youth. Well, I don't see why I could pawn a love poem.
Good day, Prince Alexander.
Alexander takes a closer look at the items.
Look, Casima, I'm sorry. I don't cook. But like I said, if you want, I will go steal you some porridge.
I'm interested in that flute.
What do you...
Well, I don't see why you'd want this.
Would you be interested in making a trade for this, merchant?
I have little call for love poems in these stressful times.
Okay. Well. Hold on.
Might I trade you this?
I have nothing of that.
Boom, boom.
Thank you.
And then...
The pawn shop's counter is made...
No.
The pawn shop... Alexander takes a closer look.
I'm interested in that flute on the counter.
What?
I don't see why this should work. And yet.
Might I trade you this pearl again, merchant?
Of course. Here is your family ring.
Thank you for keeping the ring safe.
Yeah, no. What if I just gave you the pearl for all 4 quest objects? No?
Alexander is standing on a sunny village street. There are open shops to his right, a hard-packed path beneath his feet, and palm trees waving over his head. To the north, a key-shaped arch leads to another part of the village.
Shufflewet, I hadn't even thought about it, but that's actually a great sign that something's going on. Hold on. I'm going to shut the door here. Okay. It was very unclear. Yeah. I mean, he's a weird guy. It's something, You know that golden-eyed people can't eat mints. Just walk around a little bit. Obviously, I've got to do some clicking on things next time. Okay. Oh, there absolutely will, Jeff. What? In fact, I should mention that my whole back catalog is on my YouTube page. Or not the whole. I'm working on the Ultima 5 playthrough. But Quest for Glory 1 through 4, all the King's Quest leading up to here, as far as adventure games go.
Alexander sees nothing to do there.
But yeah, and you're not going to miss much today because I'm going to wrap up. Okay. So next time, I got to keep looking for like some thread or something. But also, I need something pawnable because it really does feel like the flute. Like the flute will... Okay, once again. Stench flower. Scent gnome. The mint for the taste gnome. The paw for the touch gnome. The sight gnome feels like the trickiest one. I don't see how any of this stuff helps you trick the sight gnome. I don't even know what that's going to turn out to be. But I absolutely need to find some thread somewhere. Lots I can try. Lots to try. But for now, I'll say day 1 with King's Quest VI was a delight. I'm really enjoying the game. The writing is great. The graphics are beautiful. The voice acting is a big step up. Both the voice acting and the degree of dialogue between the characters. Both big steps up. Beautiful score so far. And again, even though I have beaten this entire game before, I know that I did. Not a single thing has jogged my memory yet. But yeah, we're off to a great start. And I really do look forward to getting back to it next week. So check it out. Tomorrow, not sure when or for how long, but I'm going to get on here with a little more Ultima Underworld 2, Labyrinth of Worlds. On New Year's Day, I'm thinking I'm going to squeeze in some more Lolo, because I'm getting awful close to the end of Adventures of Lolo 3. I'm in the last fortress before the Demon's King's Lair. And I have... it's going well. It's going well. I'm very optimistic that I'm getting very close to beating Adventures of Lolo 3 some 30 years after I first played it. And then, Tuesday, young Gregory will be here. And we'll be getting on back to beating him up. It's our interstitial episode, but phase 1 is over. We played the 40 notable beat 'em ups or notable adjacent through 1993. And then we are going to jump into all the rest of them through 1993. But in between, we're going to take one episode, maybe replay some of the games we really liked so far. And definitely, if nothing else, do some preliminary sorting. We're not doing a ranked list yet, but what are the best of the notables? What are the pretty good ones? What are the bad ones? I'll spoil this part for you. Battletoads and Battle Maniacs is one of the really bad ones. God, that game sucks. Really, really hated that. Did not enjoy playing that game at all. Then work starts back up. But if I can squeeze it in, I'll keep going with Lolo. Before classes start, this is the moment to try to make a push and finish Adventures of Lolo 3. Eventually Friday comes. We're playing Friday Night Frosthaven, and we're at a very exciting point in the campaign because both Rich and I are about to retire our characters. He's going to become the pain conduit, the shackles. I'm going to become the deep wraith. And Greg will just keep on being the drifter forever because his personal quest is very hard to fulfill. And then before you know it, it's Saturday again, and we're back in the Green Isles, baby. And we're trying to find some thread. Ooh, that's exciting. Your birthday gift is to see a gang screen with different colors and me and Rich in new frames. So I've got all those graphical elements ready. And we're doing a wacky scenario called My Private Empire. Sounds very strange. Looking forward to that. Yeah. And then, next Saturday, we're back in the Green Isles. Just, brother, can you spare some thread? I'm going into a maze with Minotaur. I feel like I need some thread. I got to brush up on the Legend of the Minotaur. What other details can I make use of here? And, we'll also look for other stuff. And hopefully we'll find some stuff. I'm excited. You're excited. Everybody's excited. Awesome. Very good first session. Hey, if you stuck around to the end, thanks for sticking around to the end. Ooh. Oh, I'm definitely going to enjoy it. Just the bits that I skimmed quickly today were terrific. So I got to remember to read that whole thing, and I will. Okay. If you stuck around to the end, thanks for sticking around to the end. If you came and you left, can't hear my voice, but I'm glad you stopped by anyway. So thanks for stopping by. And until the next time that we're hitting the Green Isles together, take care of yourselves and be kind to everyone you meet.